What is up, guys? This is Joe with Team First Class Yu-Gi-Oh! Got another profile here for you guys. A little bit of a bittersweet one because I actually was working on and I just finished this deck the weekend before COVID, so I didn't get a chance to play it yet. So, I know you guys have probably already seen my Emancipator profile at this point. If not, spoilers, that's coming next. Like I said, I need another one. I really don't know what order Jerome's going to put them in, but I would assume the Rocky Boys are going to come before this. But, like I said, I made this deck right before, so when we get to go back, I'm playing this deck first. As much as I want to play my Emancipators, I want to play my VA, Harpies, all that, and I really want to play those tunes that I'm going to get out to you guys as soon as my cards come in from pre-order, I got to play this first because I built it and I never got to play it yet, so really excited. But anyway, shout out to Asian Persuasion, because he was the one that I originally, when I was really researching this, I kind of watched a lot of his videos and kind of took little bits and pieces from each of them. Really good guy, probably the best Cosmo player, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, this is going to be Cosmo. I know it's a fan favorite archetype. One of my friends, Josh, my best friend Josh, loves this deck. He always wanted to make it. So one of these weekends, I'll convince him to come play Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll let him borrow it. He can play it. But Zach plays this deck also. He plays a little bit different than I do. We kind of bounced ideas off each other. He plays it because of Star Wars, and sorry guys, I'm just not a Star Wars fan. I get it. I respect the cult following that it has, but for me, I'm just not really a fan. I just made it because I really like Farm Girl. I like the way the deck plays, and I love the Wizard of Oz growing up as a kid. So for me, that's why I ended up making this. Anyway, I've talked enough. Let's get into it. So to start out, we're going to start with the best girl, favorite card of the deck. 2 copies of Cosmo Farm Girl. During damage step, get to search cards. She honestly is the reason I made the deck. She's just really great card. You kind of feel as bad when you open 2. I know a lot of people are playing her at 1, but like I said, I really wanted to make this deck because of her. So I was like, I gotta at least play her at 2. So, there it is. I haven't felt that I should cut her to 1. I get why people play her at 1, but I like her at 2. You guys do what you want with that. But yeah, like I said, just great card. Searching during the damage step. Just the great thing about this deck too is everything just kind of floats, and it's just a good time. Playing the golds specifically for a reason. Number 1, the golds on Farm Girl look pretty good, but also kind of gonna do a cheap plug here to segue, but I picked up a lot of these cards from our local game store side scrollers. Again, like I said, when you can, support your local game store. They really need it right now. And they had a lot of the gold. So I kind of talked myself into making a lot of the deck gold. So the Dark Destroyers are gold. I eventually want to upgrade them to the regular secrets because that card is just so much nicer in secret. But I kind of like the way Farm Girl looks in gold. All right, I'm sorry guys, too much of a tangent. But yeah, like I said, long story short, go out, support your local game stores. Then we have 2 copies. Cosmo Dark Lady. Negate and Destroy, super relevant, especially in this meta. She's just a great card. I feel like she's always going to be a great card. Just one of the reasons to play this deck is her. She's just, like I said, the Negate, the Destroy, plus the body. She's just really, really great card. Plus it's like the Wicked Witch and Darth Vader at the same time, which is really cool on paper. Then we have 3 copies, sorry Cloud, of Cosmo Wincan. Now, realistically, you could play this at 2. You could always side one of these out, but I really love it at 3 because it's just one of those cards you always want it, and it activates during both end steps. You could just search, and it's just there's a reason the card is called Cosmo Wincan, guys. But like I said, plus it's R2D2. But yeah, it's and the tin can man. But anyway, not to go too off inside. Like I said, you could play it at 2. You could always side one out for other cards, but it's Cosmo Wincan, guys. You always want this in your hand, especially going first. I mean, this deck is made to go second, but going first, you want your Wincan as often as possible. Then we have 3 copies of the man himself, Dank Daddy, Cosmo Dark Destroyer. Non-targetable, comes out, pops a card. There's some really dumb interactions with other cards in this deck, but it's just, he comes out, you pop things, he floats down, and just like everything I said in this deck, it all floats. It either floats up, it floats down. Dark Destroyer is really the reason that this deck was meta years ago, and it's just such a great card. Like I said, eventually you gotta get the secrets. But for now, support the local game store. So if you have to, play those golds. I would play this at 3, but it's not. We're trying to keep the light ship count down because we're playing Allure of Darkness and other stuff. But anyway, we'll get into that later. So 2 Slip Rider, pop the back row. Like I said, if I wasn't playing Allure, I'd play it at 3, but honestly, I think I'd rather have the option to play Allure and dig for pieces, dig for cards that we need at the time, especially our sideboard cards. But yeah, Slip Rider comes out, pops back row. It's just really, really good utility card. Plus 2400 body. Like I said, some things float, like Farm Girl can float during the damage step, so like you can Farm Girl, do your damage, poke, search this, float it, like chain it, get rid of her, float into this ship, pop the back row, poke in for another 21. It's just, the deck gets really dumb as you go. Sorry, not 21, 23. Anyway, 1 Dark Eclipser. Just basically to hate trap decks, especially there's a lot of trap decks now, but it's just no trap cards, and it's just, you know, Dark Eclipser. It's one of, you don't need more than 1, but, you know, good to have, especially, like I said, any trap deck you play again, to get him out, it's pretty much GG. 1 Forerunner, because you could float down. You can also gain 1,000 life points if he stays long enough or the duel lasts long enough. Doesn't always come up, but, you know, sometimes it's nice to have, because you got to pay for things in this deck. You pay for a lot of stuff. So that extra 1,000, you never know. But yeah. 1 Wicked Witch, really cool card, basically Darth Maul. But like I said, she kind of saves you because she saves you from dying when you're floating down, or like if anything happens like that. It's also really good against salads. But pay 1,000, make it non-destruct, like can't be destroyed. You can just sit there, eat attacks. Yeah. So she keeps you alive when you really need it. 1 Strawman. I wish I could play him at more than 1, but because, like I said, he's light, we want to keep the light count down because of Allure. Only playing him at 1, but if I could, I'd play him definitely at least 2. 1 Landwalker, because we need the dark targets, and it's just, you know, you can do a couple locks with him and Dark Lady. Sorry, guys. Cat's distracting me. But yeah, it's just really cool card, and, you know, you need those dark targets. Same kind of concept. Sword Troopers can also search psychics, but we also need the dark, so it's allureable, and, you know, it just helps you get the other cards you need, the better Cosmo cards that you need to see. 2 copies of Nibiru, because, you know, Nibiru is just always good, especially whenever people are really going off. Like I said, this is going second deck, so they hit that 5th summon, you can go out. Cosmo also dodges Nibiru in the sense where, like, you can kind of tag out and chain it, and when you chain it correctly, you could end up with Nibiru and then bring out your wind can, float your wind can into one of your ships, and it's just really dumb. 2 copies of Ash Blossom. As always, Renee, Common Ash doesn't activate from hand. Everybody please let him know anytime you see him, especially when you go back to locals. When we go back to locals, let Renee know as much as possible Common Ash doesn't negate from hand. Playing the Foot Ash because 1, it bothers KG, and 2, Caleb really likes the Altar Art, so this is kind of like a shout out to both of them. Then we have 3 copies of Cosmo Town. I would say it's probably the best field spell in the game. If, like I said, you just, you know, you don't want to destroy it if you're playing against Cosmo. Spoilers, so I shouldn't be telling you guys that when you play against it. But yeah, don't destroy it unless you know it's my last copy. But, like, you know, free pluses, if you want, you could just mulligan. Like, realistically, if you have like 4 Cosmos in hand, you can like just mulligan 4 and dig for your sideboard cards. That's one of the best things about this deck. When you're siding, after they realize you're playing Cosmo and they make you go first and you side into your going first cards, quote unquote, you can just dig for everything. But yeah, Cosmo Town, really, really great field spell. And we have 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. I know it's expensive, but like there's just certain decks like this, Toons, Necros, you gotta, like, you really just need those cards to play these decks, guys. You really do. You really need Extravagance. It's too good not to. But we don't care about the extra deck for this, so Extravagance, just draw. Then I mentioned it a couple times before, 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. A lot of dumb interactions with this and Cosmo Town is essentially just pot of greed. But like I said, Allure of Darkness, sometimes it feels bad when like you draw Allure of Darkness and Extravagance, but like if you're holding the dark, obviously you're not going to play the Extravagance, you'll do Allure of Darkness. You guys know, it's just common sense knowing what your cards do. But like I said, this deck, we're going second, we're going to dig, we're going to hit the cards we need, we're going to hit the cards we sideboarded. That's really what it's for. Then we have 3 copies. Super Poly. I know a lot of people hate this card, but just the way the game's been shaped up the last basically year, I think Super Poly is really a necessary evil. Like, you gotta have Super Poly to help out a lot of these rogue strategies. If this ever went to like 1, this deck is not as good as it is when you have 3. But Super Poly, like I said, we don't care about the extra deck. So our extra deck is literally just Extrav targets, Super Poly targets, spoilers. But yeah, Super Poly, great card. Everybody knows what it does. Free removal, you gotta have it. 1 emergency teleport, because we have our psychics, they all float, free, makes it more free. 1 cloud. Reasoning, because there's basically no chance anyone's gonna call it right, even if they do. Not a huge deal, but like I said, no one's gonna call it right, let's be honest. You're not gonna call reasoning right against us, there's too many different levels. Then we have 2 copies, one of my favorite cards, Cosmo Joe, non-targeting removal. Just a great card. You can use it on a lot of different things, whether it's Mystic Mind or whatever, but it's just really great card, really great art too. But yeah, Cosmo Joe. One of the reasons you want to play the deck is definitely because of Cosmo Joe. Then 2, Storm Dragon's Return. This card's really dumb in Cosmo because you just get your Dark Destroyer. Really, other things, well, let's be honest, is Dark Destroyer. You bring Dark Destroyer back, then he goes back, the card goes back to your hand from the banish zone after you already summoned it. It's like you summon, you get the pop, it goes back to your hand, do it again. Spoilers, but we have the Dark Kaiju sided Eradicator. There's really dumb interactions where like you can allure away the Dark Kaiju, play this card, bring it back, put it back in your hand, and then you do Eradicator. People don't see it's coming, huge big brain plays. But yeah, guys, it's Storm Dragon Return, great card. And basically the same thing, almost, but instead of going back to hand, it's to the field. 2 copies of Back to the Front. Next we have our extra deck, which is, it's relevant but irrelevant. This is really based on how our meta was before COVID. So there's a lot of like Shadal hate, Mech Knight hate, Salad hate. So we'll see what other people are playing, see if anything changes. But for now, to Earth Golem, because it's basically hating on salads, like we said. Then we have 3 Almaduke, because people want to link spam, like I know Adamantipator, some kinds of build link boards. Any other deck, if you get enough links out, this is it. Like I said, it might change. It depends how our meta shapes up, guys, but I'm going to say that a lot in both of those profiles. But for now, we're playing 3, again, because we had a lot of Shadals hanging around before COVID. 2 Winda, because it's just easy. And then the Invoked Elysium to hate on the Invoked engine. Starving Venom, because even if they only have like 1 dark, we play a lot of darks, so like we use one of our own cards, one of our own guys to do it. Dragostapelia, same thing, Shadal hate. I think it works against Pentolins pretty well too, but really it was for Shadals originally. And then for all the rogue, Mud Dragon. Like I said, it's all Super Poly targets. The extra deck is literally whatever when you're playing it, whatever your meta is, just side in Super Poly targets to hate on your meta. The side deck, same thing as the Adamantipator profile. It's not finished because I'm really waiting to see what we're playing against once we go back. But there's a couple cards in here that I'm definitely using. This one, you don't really need them at all. I just love this card and was looking for some place to play it, so it doesn't sit in my binder. So I had the space. We have Jinzo. Hate on those trap decks. A little redundant, but you know, like I said, I really just wanted an excuse to play Jinzo. I love Jinzo, one of my favorite cards. So he's here in our extra side deck. I I gotta get a second one from Justin once we're able to go back. But there should be 2. Like I said, the Dark Kaiju is really the only Kaiju you can play. He's allurable. We use an Eradicator, which we'll get to. But super important. A lot of fun, different things you can do with this card. 2 Dark Ruler No More, for in case anyone besides me is playing Adamantipator. Just any other card, any other deck that really wants to go off also. But really, it's Adamantipator. Dark Ruler No More, great card. Man, those tin promos look better and better as each of these decks come out. I talked about it like 10 times already. Eradicator, you side this in along with your Dark Kaiju. It's a blowout when it goes off against decks that it's specifically designed to go off against. 1 skill drain, because a lot of people don't want to have to deal with the Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is essentially what Dark Destroyer is. So like, you know, you do your Dark Destroyer, get him out, skill drain. It's really hard for a lot of people to get over a 3k body with just vanilla monsters. And then 2 Torrential Tribute. A lot of people don't know how to deal with Torrential Tribute. Like, I know some things float, but for us it really doesn't matter that we destroy ourselves, and Torrential Tribute can be a huge blowout against the decks that aren't ready for it. The extra spaces that I have, I also got to pick up from Justin. I got to get the artifact package. That's definitely going in there. And then I think from there, if my math is correct, I have like another 2 slots. So it might end up being anti-spell. It could be pretty much anything. Like I said, it really depends how our meta shapes up. But anyway, guys, hope you liked it. Keep an eye out when we get that Toon profile, when we get drone profiles, everybody else's profile. We're really trying to keep our content more consistent for you guys now that COVID's kind of going back to normal. Stay safe, wash your hands. Cannot wait to get back playing at our locals with you guys. Like, comment, subscribe.